Welcome into another episode of the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast here on Sports Illustrated from the Fans First Sports Network. My name is Tom Cavanaugh. Follow me at TCAV30 on Twitter/X, and also follow our insider pages at UCLA Insider on SI, both on Twitter/X and on Facebook. Tonight is a recap looking at this brutal loss for the UCLA Bruins, ranked 18th in the country. They now move on to 10-2 as they fall 76-74 to the UNC Tar Heels. North Carolina, a big surge late in the ball game. They come back down 16 points with just under 13 to play. They now improve to 7-5 on the year. When you look at the game as a whole, the Bruins led for almost the entire game. The only leads that UNC had were in the first minute of the game when they were up 2-0, and the final seconds of the game when they won by 2. So, I mean, it was largely controlled by UCLA. They shot the ball very well. They had two guys at season highs scoring. But down the stretch, they just could not buy a basket. The free throw shooting was not good. And a few plays, a few bounces did not go their way. And that was really the difference. When you look at it, as I mentioned, up by 16 points with 13 to go. And from the 9-minute mark all the way until the end of the game, the Bruins made just 2 field goals. A majority of their points in the final 9 minutes came from the free throw line, where they did not shoot the ball well. And this team shot the ball very well from the field and from deep. They shot 49%, 26 of 53 overall. They were 9 of 18 from downtown, as good for 50%. But at the free throw line, they were 13 for 22. That's a 59% clip from the line. That's got to be better. I mean, you saw Bilodeau. He was 3 of 7 from there, even though he had a season high of 26 points with 5 3-pointers. Sky Clark, he was 0 for 2 from the line as well. Daimara missed one. Sebastian Mack was very solid. He had a season high as well, posting 22 points and 3 assists. He was 7 of 8 from the free throw line, also knocked down 3 triples. So the Bruins did shoot well, but not from the free throw line, and that's when it counted, because there was a lot of ticky-tack fouls down the stretch, and UCLA had chances to be able to separate themselves, keep it at a 3 to 5 point distance. And they would miss the front end of 1-and-1s on a bonus, or they would split at the line. And I mean, that's really where it comes from. When you miss 9 free throws in 22 attempts, a team can come back. In North Carolina, I mean, they didn't just walk into this win. They made 10 of their last 15 shots down the stretch. Incredible. You look at a couple of their players. Ian Jackson off the bench. He went off for 24. RJ Davis had a big couple buckets, big free throws down the stretch. He had 17. Seth Trimble had 12. Davis and Trimble were the two we talked about earlier in the week about who to watch out for. And then Elliot Cadeau, he had 8, as well as Drake Powell. So the scoring was not really distributed across the entire team for UNC. It was really 3 guys that did a majority of the scoring. And the Bruin defense, they still forced 18 turnovers by North Carolina. But the one stat that you really look at, 9 offensive rebounds for the Tar Heels. There was 1 down the stretch, missed 3-pointer. They get the rebound inside, put it back up to tie the game up late. That was kind of a turning point in the game. The Bruins did well defensively. I mean, giving up 76 points to UNC is pretty solid, considering they were averaging 10 more points than what they had come out with today. It was just really the shooting down the stretch, the free throws, and then not being able to really convert in a lot of places. In the final, I think 3.5, maybe 4 minutes, they were held without a field goal. So, I mean, that's a huge difference in the game down the stretch, closing out ball games. We've seen the Bruins actually come out on the right side of the coin in previous games where they had coughed up leads. They did that against Oregon. They took a game-winning bank shot off the glass in the final seconds for Dylan Andrews to win that one. Gave up a late lead against Arizona. They were able to come out with a close victory there as well. So this team has kind of been, stepping on the edge of allowing a team to come back on them and win. And it just so happened on Saturday night at Madison Square Garden, just because of, the inability to execute down the stretch and make some plays, hit some shots. Dylan Andrews, he was coming off a huge game against Prairie View A&M. He was 1 for 6 from the field for just 2 points. Kobe Johnson did not shoot the ball much. He had 6 rebounds. He also had 3 steals, as he always does every game, 3 assists. But 0 for 3, 0 points. Couple of triples that did not go. He was a big miss. Usually contributes anywhere from 7 to 10 points. When you look at the rest of the team, Lazar Stefanovic, he posted 6. So did William Kyle III in the paint. Daimara, he only took 1 shot in the ball game, didn't play a ton. He had 1 point. It was a free throw. Talked about Mack hitting 22, Bilodeau 26. And then the rest of the starting 5, besides Kobe Johnson going goose egg and Andrew scoring 2. You had Sky Clark with 9, who fouled out late, and then Eric Danley Jr. with 2. So kind of the same thing as we were talking with North Carolina. UCLA usually does a really good job of spreading out the scoring, having multiple guys, 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys in double figures. That was not the case today. They had 48 points combined between 2 players, and that was more than half of their total for the game. So this is a much better team when they're able to share the ball and everybody's able to be successful. I'm not saying they did not share the ball in this game, but not enough people came to perform and play well enough to win, especially late in the game, because they were up by 8 at halftime, were really cruising through that second half, and then in the final 10 minutes or so, they went cold, and things really got out of hand. And the Bruins, they see their 9-game losing or winning streak snapped. Last time they lost was back in early November to New Mexico, and they give the Tar Heels their very first ranked win of the season. UCLA will be back in action. They're going to take this week in practice to kind of evaluate things, polish up, and work on late game adjustments and being able to execute down the stretch. They will play next Saturday at the Intuit Dome, which is the new home of the Los Angeles Clippers. They're going to play number 13 Gonzaga in a huge bounce back spot. I think this loss was good for this team. Now, we said that about the New Mexico game, but there's also a lot more learning that you can do and improvement from losing than you do winning. So them being able to really understand, hey, we got to, tuck it in a little bit down the stretch, hit some shots, find out a way to get our guys open to execute when a team is, down and out. Because UNC, when they were down 16, they were just going through the motions. They hit a couple triples here and there. They cut it within 10 points. And then they started to get confident once again and were able to complete the comeback. This has been the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast on Sports Illustrated. I'm your host, Tom Cavanaugh. Follow me once again at TCAV30 on Twitter/X. Follow our insider pages at UCLA Insider on SI. Once again, 76-74, UCLA falls, snapping their 9-game winning streak. They fall to 10-2 on the season. North Carolina improves to 7-5 with their first ranked win of the year. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow.